Hello, parents. We welcome you to fifth grade and we welcome you to middle school. I thank you all for tuning in. I'm Ben Sullivan, head of the middle school. This is the first of 5 meetings to get you acclimated and comfortable with fifth grade and middle school. We'll have our meeting today. We have our parent advisory meeting on August 21st, our new parent orientation on August 24th, a fifth grade coffee 10 days after school starts, and then middle school back to school night on September 17th. Needless to say, you're going to learn a lot about middle school over these next couple months. And in that intervening time, if questions arise, please email me. You've already sent several, and we'll answer those at the end of the presentation today. But without further ado, let me turn you over to our wonderful fifth grade team and Chris Erickson, our fifth grade coordinator.
Hi, everybody. My name is Chris Erickson, and I'm Mr. E, and I would just like to welcome you. I teach fifth grade English, and I'm going to kick it on over to Mrs. Bernhardt.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Bernhardt. I'm going to be teaching you math this year, or your students math this year. We are going to do lots of addition and subtraction and multiplication and division, and we're going to have as much fun as we can, and it's going to be very, very interesting to fifth graders. We always try to pick topics that matter to fifth graders and put in as much fun as possible. It's going to be a great year. And on to Mrs. Fullerton.
Hi, I'm Maki Fullerton. I teach fifth grade science. I also coach Lego robotics in the afternoon. So we'll do some fun science stuff in fifth grade. So I'm looking forward to meeting you all. I will be passing to Dr. Hill.
Hi, I'm Dr. Michelle Hill, and I teach fifth grade social studies. I also coach the middle school speech and debate team, and I love fifth graders. And my biggest teaching philosophy is don't be bored and don't be boring. So we will have a fun year and we are never bored. And I am sending it on to Kara. Mrs. Harris.
Hello, I'm Kara Harris. I am the choir teacher for the middle and upper school, and I also am the music director for the musical. I'm here representing the entire music department. There is band, choir, and strings, and we have tons of fun in all of those groups. And we look forward to making music with all of your students in the fall. And I'm going to kick it to Miss Roman.
Hi, I'm Maria Roman. I'm the 5th and 6th grade counselor and also the YO teacher. So I'm super excited about meeting all your kids. And I'm going to kick it over to Mr. Giroux.
Hey, my name is Mr. Giroux. I am the 5th and 6th grade technology teacher and middle school librarian. We will get you all introduced to everything from Google Drive and your Gmail accounts to doing things like programming in Scratch and playing and programming in Minecraft. So in my class, I hope that we all can have a lot of fun. I know there's often a learning curve, but don't worry about it because I'm a teacher. And passing to Miss Bloomston.
Hi, I'm Carrie Bloomston. I'm the 5th and 6th grade art teacher. And I would say that my mission is to help your kids be creative. And we will explore a lot of art history, materials, processes, and mainly we're gonna have a lot of fun playing and experiencing with our hands. And I am going to pass it along to Coach Newland.
Hey everybody, Coach Newland here, middle school PE. Just a couple of things to remember about middle school PE. Your students will get a locker, their own locker, in the alumni gymnasium. And then I'll pass it on to Coach Pruitt to talk about a couple other things.
Okay, I'm Coach Pruitt and I teach middle school PE along with Coach Newland. And I will talk to you later about class times and uniforms and all the other things that go along with middle school PE. And then I'm going to turn it back to Mr. Erickson.
Okay, everybody. So this is kind of fun. This is our first big Zoom meeting with you guys. So we're just kind of winging this as we go. This is one of those meetings where I think this is the most people that I've seen wearing their pajamas during this 4th to 5th grade meeting. But 5th grade, just so that you know, big time for us. It's about fun and foundations. And there's going to be a lot of differences that are occurring this year with everything that is going on, switching from 5th grade or 4th grade to 5th grade. And just a second, I'm trying to switch something on here. So we're going to be, as Mr. Giroux said, technology-wise, there's some differences. We're going to have laptops that are brand new for us. And we will be also having you start having your new 5th graders learning things like Google Drive and programs like IXL and Canvas and many, many other different programs that each teacher will be teaching. So that's going to be new and different. Also, in 5th grade, they don't stay in a self-contained classroom anymore, so they have traveling groups. So we always have 4 traveling groups, cleverly named 5-1, 5-2, 5-3, and 5-4. And the beauty of that is when they transition from one class to the next, sometimes they need a little bit of assistance in knowing where to go, especially at the beginning of the year. So the best thing is at least if one student out of the 12 or 13 or 14 or 15 students in that traveling group know what's going on, they follow them, that kind of thing. So traveling groups are a wonderful way to have a little bit of safety and nesting as you go from one class, because 5-1 might have English first period, and then later on they might have science second period, so they all kind of travel together there. We also have advisor groups. And a little different than a homeroom teacher, an advisor in the middle school, it's kind of our job. We work for your kids. It's our job to make sure that they're getting along well socially and they know what's going on and how to be organized and keeping up with their homework. And if there are any hiccups along the way, we are there to be able to kind of help them through that and communicate with you and communicate with our new 5th graders. We also have a lot of fun. We've got different things during the year. We have electives where on Wednesdays there's different times during the year where they'll sign up for an elective. It might be doing origami with Mrs. Bernhardt, or it might be frisbee golf with Mr. Newland. These just fun activities that they sign up for, and it's a kind of a nice break away from the academic rigmarole there. We've got snack breaks every single day where they get free snacks, so that if they get a little peckish in the morning between breakfast and lunch, they can have something to eat. We've got breaks between classes. There's recess time. There's lunch. We have class meetings where we all get together and share what's going on so far in the day or the week or the month or the year. And then we also have morning meetings where the whole middle school gets together. So it's a lot of fun to kind of break things up during the day with fun activities. We also have something in middle school called homework help, which is fantastic, especially for 5th graders. It's a time that we have lunch and then we'll have recess. But then after recess, Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, we have this thing called homework help where students come to their advisor's room and they can sit down and maybe get some homework that was just assigned in the morning, or they have something that's coming up a little later that they didn't quite finish. It's an opportunity for them to be able to get their work done. And also, hey, I've got a question about Spanish, so can I go see Mrs. Fox to ask her a question about something she assigned? And it's a great way for the communication and to get a little extra assistance. Plus, to get some homework out of the way so that there isn't much of a homework load at night for them to be able to carry with them. Please remember that middle school, it's not just 5th grade, but 5th, 6th, 7th, it's a roller coaster. It is, there's so many highs and lows, and we are there. We have been through all the highs and lows, but what we ask is it's kind of a team effort between yourselves, ourselves, and the students. We all need to work together so that, you know, we can bring them up for those highs, and when they stumble and fall a little bit, that we can help guide them and pick them up along the way. Another thing we have in 5th grade, we've got some great 5th grade trips. We start off near the beginning of the year with a company that comes in called Possibiliteams. And it's a team building organization where we take our students and we mix them up into 6 different groups, and they have the silliest, goofiest challenges to try and solve. And it's a way for them to start learning to work together and to listen to other people, and some people that try and take a little bit of control and have them listen more, and those that are a little more on the quiet side to kind of step up. And the best thing about it is, from the 5th grade teacher's point of view, it gives us this opportunity to see our brand new kids in a different non-academic setting and to kind of figure out how do they work together and to build some team cohesion with all the fifth graders. So that's a fun day that we have. I think this year it's going to be October 19th. We also have a trip that we go to Arco Santi, although this year we're thinking about switching it up and going to Sedona to do some different outdoor activities and some learning that goes with that. And that's going to be on October 29th. And then later in the following part of the year, we have a light rail trip where we literally take all 50 plus fifth graders on the light rail and we go visit our backyard. We teach them how the light rail works and we go to all kinds of fun places. A Mountain down at ASU, we go to the airport, we go downtown near the Symphony Hall, and we do all kinds of different fun activities, some museums and things like that. It's just a blast. And it's a fun part of the year right after spring break. One thing I want to tell you about is another thing that's really new from lower school to middle school is the 7-day schedule. It's a little daunting at first, especially for we adults, but the kids, they figure it out. So for instance, on Monday might be day 1, Tuesday, day 2, Wednesday, 3, 4, on 5 on Friday, and then Monday, it's day 6, and Tuesday's day 7, and then Wednesday, it starts again on day 1. If I've lost you along the way, don't worry. Your son or daughter will be able to explain it to you in about 2 weeks because each day they have different classes on each day. And after about 2, maybe 3 weeks, it's really easy to talk to any of them and say, hey, what class do you have on day 2, 3rd period? And they will say art. And if you say day 6, 2nd period, they will say PE extra. They memorize it so quickly, which is wonderful. And the reason for this is with a 7-day rotation, we only have 4 classes every day. And what that does is instead of having little tiny 40-minute classes, we have 75-minute classes, which gives us that ability to be able to really get in deep in whatever we're trying to teach them that day. The retention levels skyrocket up. And the really cool thing is in between each of those 4 classes, there's always a break. There might be electives, there might be a recess, there might be lunch, there might be just a plain old break where they can go out and play. And the great thing about that is that it gives their brains, gives them time to just kind of reset, breathe, relax. The stress levels go way down. But again, the learning and the time we're with them actually increases just like the retention level. So don't worry about the 7-day schedule and that it's different every single day. The kids figure it out really quickly. And we are there to help them every step of the way. Homework help, again, is a really cool benefit. We quickly find out that 5th graders, when they use the homework help appropriately, their homework level comes way down. Sometimes they don't have any homework. And we actually get complaints from parents, give them more homework, but it's because they're learning to become more responsible and to get things done accordingly. So that's just a little bit of a snippet of the general overview of 5th grade. And right now, I'd love to kick it over to Maria Romans to talk to us a little bit about her YO program.
So along with being the 5th and 6th grade counselor, I also get to teach the students in a program called You and Others. So it's right in the name of it. They get to know themselves a little bit more and they get to know each other a little bit more. So the program is basically our social emotional learning program. And we do things developmentally appropriate for students to be able to foster their communication skills. We have a big emphasis on mindfulness activities, as well as writing in their journals, and just being able to do different activities and have discussions about things that may come up. 5th and 6th grade is definitely a time when, it's a roller coaster of emotions, like Mr. E said. So they're just rapidly growing physically, socially, and emotionally. So it's just a way for them to be able to learn in a group. Along with YO, I also am the school counselor for 5th and 6th grade. So I get to work with students and families individually. Also, as Mr. E said, it is a group effort. I'm part of both the 5th and 6th grade team, so we work together to make sure that your students feel supported here. Communication is definitely something that's going to be beneficial for all of us. We need to keep in communication, so we'd love for you to continue to communicate. Parents, communicate with us. Let us know how we can support your kids. And just my number one job being the school counselor is to advocate for your students. So just want to be there for them. If they have any issues, those roller coasters, those hiccups that may come up throughout their 5th grade year, I have their back. So now I'm going to kick it over to Mrs. Bernard, and she's going to talk to you about some things.
Hello again. A little bit more on our fun and foundations in 5th grade. One of the things that we do is we work with our 5th graders at a 5th grade level to help our students practice good habits of organization and executive functioning. And while this is something that we work on with them all year long, in the first several weeks of school, we have a full program that we've developed for them that takes them through all kinds of basics, from using their assignment planners well to utilizing a desk calendar, long-term planning, studying for different classes. We call this the Fun Facts program because we do put in as much fun as we can, and it's a lot of factual information, but it's the type of thing that will help them to grow and develop those academic habits that will take them on through middle school. And with that, I'm going to pass it along to Ms. Harris.
Hello again, I'm Kara Harris and I'm the choir teacher. For music in 5th grade, students choose between band, choir, and strings. There is a letter with the Google form for your student's preference that will be going out soon, and you will rank, or you and your student will rank their choices between choir, band, and strings. Students are in their respective music classes for the entire year. We meet twice a rotation and 1 homework help. There is a really big, fun winter concert where all of the middle school music groups perform, and it's a really big, fun tradition that we do every December. And once students choose, if they choose band or strings, they will sort their instrument selection at a later date with the music teacher. And of course, if they choose choir, their instrument is in their body and it goes with them everywhere. And I'm going to now pass it to Dr. Michelle Hill.
Again, so there are huge changes that happen for the students between 4th and 5th grade. And that goes for students who have been at PCDS since pre-K and new students who are joining us for the first time in 5th grade. But one of my favorite things is that everyone is starting new. It's a new building, it's new teachers, it's a new schedule, and that goes for the kid who's been here since pre-K or someone who's come from another state or another school in our city. So 2 of the things that we really focus on are the idea of learning to learn. And that means finding your own interests, developing intrinsic motivation for things. We see students really attach themselves to certain subjects and certain teachers for the first time, and that's an amazing thing and a privilege to witness. And another thing that we stress are the 3 R's, being respect, responsibility, and resourcefulness. So students, again, like Mrs. Bernhardt and Mrs. Roman said, at a developmentally appropriate level, start becoming more responsible for their possessions, their lockers, their musical instruments. And, you know, in the first couple weeks of school, you know, students might be calling their parents and saying, I forgot my flute. But by the end of the year, we're hoping that those phone calls don't happen. And that also goes for their homework. We provide homework help time for them to complete things. And then gradually, if work isn't getting in, there's some consequences for that, but we do that in a really sort of open setting. So it's called extended study hall. If you forget your homework a few times as the year goes on, you stay after school for 30 minutes with a teacher, and it's not a punishment. It's just extra time and sort of a signal that you might need to spend some more time with your assignment notebook and things like that. So all of us work as a team to make sure that that resourcefulness and that responsibility and that respect for your teachers, for the learning process, for your classmates in your school work together as you're learning to learn. And again, I think it's a privilege to witness. Mrs. Fullerton, my wall mate, is going to talk a little bit about locks and lockers and other things.
Hi, so I'm gonna wait to talk about the lockers before I pass it on to the Coach Newland, but so Dr. Hill talked about the 3 R. One of the R is to respect. So we would like you to be respectful to yourself and to others and to our environment. I'm passionate to teach science, and I'm also passionate about our environment and how we can be sustainable to our environment. We started middle school garden 2 years ago. We had a full vegetables and flower garden going on last year, so we want to continue that. Another thing that I would like to mention is to bring water bottle to school. We want to get rid of the plastic as much as we can from our campus. So that's one thing that you can do to reduce the amount of plastic bottles that come into campus, and just talk about how we can be sustainable in our environment. One of the things that the students come in to our middle school, one of the most exciting things about is to get in a locker. So each student will receive getting a locker. One will be by your advisor room, and one will be by in the gym. So Coach Newland can talk about the locker in the gym, but the locker right by your advisor room will be your like a cubby hole. So you can decorate the top of your locker, make it personal, and somewhere that you can go to kind of think about your family and friends and something that you miss, maybe a picture of your dog. So that would be fun to decorate. And then you will place your Zuka or backpack on the bottom of your locker. So it'd be fun to have the locker and a place to go to, and that's your place. So that would be fun to do. I'm going to pass it on to Coach Newland to talk about the locker in the gym.
Yeah, hey everybody. Like I mentioned before, every student's going to get a locker in the alumni gymnasium that they'll use for PE when they change out into their uniforms, which Coach Pruitt will talk about here in a second. I just wanted to mention a couple other things too about middle school PE. We are going to have some outside of the class learning, which takes place in Canvas in the form of quizzes that we give on all the team sports that we cover. So if we're doing soccer, for instance, there will be some rules of soccer, and there'll be some videos about soccer so that the students can learn about the team sport. And then when we come to class, they know some of the rules and we could start to play right away. That's a couple of things. One other thing I want to mention before I hand it over to Coach Pruitt is that really cool in middle school, especially starting in 5th grade, because I know in the lower school they don't have it. We do offer after-school sports, and we have a variety of athletic options that kind of meets all the needs for the students. And I'll just kind of tell you about a couple coming up in the fall that put on your radar. And then as we go through the year, we can mention some of the others in the winter and the spring. But for the fall, for the boys and girls, we have a cross-country club that runs once a week by me. And we just do runs around the campus. One of the great things about our campus, it's so beautiful and so big that we could get 3-mile runs in or 2-mile runs in while staying on campus, so it's secured. The other thing we're going to do for the boys and girls in the fall is going to be co-ed golf, which is really awesome. And then just for the boys, we have flag football, and for the girls, we have volleyball. So just want to put that on your radar before I pass over to Coach Pruitt, and she talks about a couple other things to know for middle school PE. All right, Coach?
Okay, so as Coach Newland mentioned, you'll have your own locker in the gym, and those will be assigned to you. You'll also get a uniform, which will be a PE shirt, and you'll be able to write your last name or your first name on it. And the girls actually get shorts, and you'll have those to put in your locker, and you'll keep in your locker. And obviously you'll want to bring tennis shoes. So if a girl is wearing a pair of sandals or something, they're gonna need a pair of tennis shoes to participate in. And even the boys, if you're wearing a pair of tennis shoes to school, it's not a bad idea to have another set of tennis shoes in the PE locker. It helps our floors stay clean and stuff like that. The exciting thing about PE in middle school is it's 75 minutes long, like Mr. Erickson was talking about. And that way, Coach Newland and I are able to, after you get done changing out, we meet, and we usually do a 10 to 15 minute workout. And that's usually body weight exercises with music, and that's a little warm up. So we really stress fitness and a lifestyle of wellness. So we do that first, and then we go into the unit. So usually we get about 50 to 60 minutes of the actual unit that you're playing, which is really fun. which is a little bit different, a lot different than lower school. On the first day of school, don't worry about it. I know this is a big question. Oh, what do I bring? What do I bring? You want to make sure that you come to school on the first day. You won't need to have your uniform. You'll get your uniform. You'll get your uniform there. You'll get your lockers. We'll talk about all the rules and everything that goes along with PE. And then if we have time, we do a get to know you activity or maybe like a short workout. But for the girls, we do start at the pool for swim and dive. I'm the head diving coach for upper school and middle school. So we do start in my favorite unit, the swim and dive unit, but you do not need your swimsuit on the very first day. We will talk about getting that in on your second day. So your second day of PE, we will actually be in the pool, but don't worry about it on the first day. That's it. I think Coach Newland and I are super excited to have you guys in PE. And now I'm going to hand it back to Chris.
Awesome. Hey, thanks. I wanted to add on to what Mrs. Fullerton said. She was saying, yeah, about the students decorating their lockers. We love them to use magnetic things to decorate, so they're not putting stickers and all that kind of stuff on the lockers to keep them looking great. But we've seen everything from glass, crystal chandeliers and disco balls and carpeting and everything. It's really, really cool. They get to decorate the insides. And don't worry about the lockers with the locks. We know it's their first time, both in PE and also just for having their own spaces. We know what locker trauma sometimes occurs. They will be trying their combos and they can't get it. They'll be like really, really concerned and worried. We are experts on teaching them and taking care of it. So all we ask is that when they do get their locks, start practicing them for a couple of days, just running through so they get used to everything with that. Now, we have some questions from you, and I wanted to start off by answering one of them myself. One parent was asking, what's the homework load like? Well, that's going to change depending on the day of the week and the week of the year, and also each individual student. We generally try and keep our homework between 45 minutes to an hour, and we check in with students all the time just to find out how much homework do you guys actually have, how much time you're spending. But it also depends on how well they use that homework time. When we have about 25 minutes each day, they can get so many different assignments done there that if they're using that, then they have even less homework. It also depends on their learning curve of how responsible they're being. If they have an assignment that's due a week from now and they start on it the night before, I think you can see where I'm going. They're going to have a lot of homework that night. But if they get started on it doing little by little each night before the week is up, then they're not going to have that much homework. So again, it just kind of depends on each student. But again, we are there, and if you can communicate with us, if they're having a lot of homework, we can kind of work with them to try and smooth things out. Some students get it right away on how to be responsible, and some need some learning, because that's what fifth grade is about. We're setting them up for middle school success. Another question is asking, is coming to middle school a big adjustment from lower school? And I want to kick that one to Dr. Hill.
Yes. In short, yes. Fifth grade is a huge adjustment. The learning curve is high. Like I said before, though, everybody is new. Whether you were at in fourth grade at PCDS or in fourth grade in Washington, D.C., everyone is starting new. Lockers are new for people, traveling groups, switching classes, homework help. But a thing that I think the fifth grade does exceptionally well is we provide a number of safe spaces to talk about what everyone is going through. So you will always have your advisor as an anchor to go back to and say, I think I have too much homework, or I can't get into my locker. And then when you're not near your advisor, you'll have a YO class to do that. Or maybe you have a great relationship with Coach Newland or Coach Pruitt. There are so many sources of support in the fifth grade that understand that this is a big adjustment and are excited to be along for the ride.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, no, that's okay. I just didn't know if you wanted me to ask the next question.
Oh, go for it.
Great. Miss Roman, can you tell me about any parental opportunities for involvement? Some of our parents are hoping to get really involved.
I would love to. So on the first day of school, we have a parent volunteer breakfast. So you can go to it right after you drop off your kids on the first day of school. And they'll get the opportunity to sign up for so many different opportunities as far as volunteering. One of the more popular ones, and one of the ones that I really enjoy, is you can sign up to volunteer and help out at the snack bar. So you kind of get the opportunity to see your students, see your kids in their element. And also kind of touch base with their teachers too. So it's really cool to see parents at the snack bar every day. Then there's also committees like the Cultural Enrichment Committee, where you can help out with the different cultural events that we have at school. So you'll be able to do that first day of school, the parent volunteer breakfast. If for some reason you can't make it to that, you can always contact Marion Flory. She's the PA president. And then she'll be able to find, or you'll be able to ask her questions about how to be able to sign up for different opportunities.
Cool. Thank you, Ms. Romans. Ms. Bernhardt, how about you tackle this one? A parent was asking, is there a way that they, as a parent, to help their child be successful in fifth grade?
Hello, very common question. And in fact, as Mr. Sullivan has said, we're going to be seeing with you and speaking with you as parents and as a fifth grade team multiple times. And we're going to give you little tidbits and clues and ways to work with your children to help them be successful. But let's just start with one thing. One of the things I think is most important to help your child be successful in fifth grade and in middle school is that you establish family routines that will help provide your student with the support that they need at home. Such things as have set times for when you're going to go over their planner with them. Have a set time for when are they going to have a study hour. It might be different on Tuesday than it is from Wednesday, but when is that time? And have your child not have it in this when is it. They'll know this is when I'm going to sit down, this is when I'm going to be doing my studying, this is when I do my homework. Having those routines really gives them a solid place to start with. Have a set time for when you're going to pack up, and we really recommend that they do that the night before. You want your mornings to be as smooth as possible, so anything that you can do those nights before to make that process better, those are the things that will make your child successful. Have them start the morning with a really good night's sleep. Have them come to school with something on their tummy so their minds and their brains have that fuel to really get going. Those are the types of things that, while they sound simple, they are foundational and they give your child that first start. Like I said, we're going to give you lots of other tidbits as far as things as how to help your child with homework and what questions to ask, but really give them that best supportive structure on a daily basis, and that will really go far. I'm going to kick it back to Mr. Erickson.
Thanks, Rebecca. Hey, Maki, somebody wants to know what kind of supplies are needed for fifth grade. You want to take that one?
Sure. We will provide you a list of supplies that you will need to have for your child. It will be posted online. We will also email you the list. But you will need a backpack or Zuka that your child has been using. That's fine. You need a 3-ring binder with a zipper, like this one, big one, maybe 2 to 3 inches zipper binder, so they can keep their planner, they can keep their stuff. We will provide the dividers that needs to go in there. So don't worry about that, just to provide the binder, and then a pencil case where they can keep their pencils. So they would need pencils, permanent markers, Sharpies, red pen, highlighters, just the basic learning tools that they will need during the class. And then water bottle. Make sure they will bring a water bottle with their name on it, so that if they leave it somewhere on campus, we can go and find them, or it would be left in the middle school office so that they can find and go get them. So I think these 2 things that maybe you can start thinking about purchasing from Amazon or online stores over the summer, so they'll be ready to go in the fall.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Maki. And again, like Maki was saying, that there's going to be sent home a list of supplies, some that we require them to have, and then some recommendations. But again, you'll be getting that information over the summer. The last question somebody asked was, is my son and daughter prepared for middle school? And I'm going to answer it honestly. Some of them yes, and some of them maybe no. But we are ready for that. We are ready to start from scratch where they come in. But to help a little bit over the summer, Mrs. Bernhardt, the math teacher, and myself, the English teacher, we're going to be sending home some information that really would be helpful for them to do over the summer to really reinforce what they've learned, or at least touch upon any things that maybe they haven't. So there's going to be a math and an English workbook sent home, and we're going to make a video to go with it so your kids can listen to us explain what to do. There's also for English going to be a reading requirement. They have to read 3 books over the summer. So again, we're just giving them a little stuff to do over the summer to keep the educational learning going so that they don't fall out of that habit that will set them up for success for the coming 5th grade year. Right now, I would love to kick it back to our illustrious leader, Mr. Sullivan.
Myself here. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you're impressed with this 5th grade team, even from a distance. I know you'll be even more impressed in person in August. We hope you stay safe and you stay healthy, and can't wait to see you in August.
All right, guys, I'm switching to gallery view. Everyone wave bye. Awesome. See ya.